Hello, everyone. It's Dr. Manjari Narkarni. This is another Wellness Wednesday. So, this week we are discussing all about hormones and especially hormonal balance in women. And that is why today's topic is super, super, super important. In our lives today, we are bombarded by so many external pesticides or preservatives or even with cosmetics, right? We're bombarded with so many chemicals in our day to day life that it becomes extremely challenging to be able to identify whether certain things are good for you or are they creating a lot of harm, right? And that is why we are going to discuss all about today's topic, which is understanding xenoestrogens versus phytoestrogens. I'm just waiting for a few people to hop on, and then I'll continue with the discussion. Okay, I can see a few of you log on. Perfect. So thank you for watching. We are discussing understanding xenoestrogens versus phytoestrogens. Let's get started by first discussing about estrogen. So estrogen is the primary, it's one of the most important female hormones, and it will play a role in sexual development, reproduction, menstrual cycle. Having estrogen in your body, there are three main estrogens: estrone, estradiol, and estriol. I'm not going to go into too many technical terms today, but having a good balance of estrogen in your body is extremely important. You do not want to have too much, and you do not want to have too less estrogens in your body, right? And the reason is that if you have too less estrogens in the body, it will create certain symptoms like hot flashes, night sweats, the typical symptoms you will see during menopause, right? Menopause is the time when your body naturally does not have a lot of estrogen. All the hormones are waning, and you will see certain signs associated with it. And estrogen in optimal quantities is going to help you with your heart health, it's going to help you with your bone health. So, as women reach menopause and they attain menopause, the risk of heart disease, osteoporosis, everything is extremely high because you are losing the estrogen, right? So having low estrogen is not beneficial. On the other hand, in today's world, what we see is there is too much estrogen that you're getting from your external environment, right? And these external environmental estrogens can be categorized into either xenoestrogen or phytoestrogen. So, whenever we talk about the word xeno, it means foreign. And when we talk about the word phyto, phyto means plant based, right? So, external estrogens that we are not producing in the body but we are getting from outside is called exogenous estrogens, and they're typically into different categories. So certain synthetic estrogens, like if you are going through menopause and if you're struggling with a lot of symptoms, you will be put on certain hormone uh, medications, right? So that is a form of exogenous estrogen. At the same time, birth control pills, will have some estrogen and progesterone. So that again is a form of exogenous estrogen, right? At the same time, if you are if your exposure to pesticides, if your exposure to the linings in the can, right? If your exposure to different different categories of, like bisphenol A, right? That's one of the main endocrine disruptors. It's also called a xenoestrogen, and it is a chemical that's found in plastic, it's found in food containers, it's found in flame retardants, it's also found in water supply pipes. And there are different pesticides like DDT. There are certain things called PCBs, polychlorinated biphenyls. They're used in electrical equipment or furniture or padding like your mattresses and stuff. So these are all things that have the potentiality to wreck your hormones, and these are known as endocrine disruptors, and these are known as xenoestrogens or foreign estrogens, right? So these are like certain medications as well, like diethylstilbestrol, which is used to uh, like prevent miscarriages and stuff, but it can be a part of these xenoestrogens as well, right? When we talk about phthalates, when we talk about parabens are in so many foods. Parabens are a lot in your cosmetics, right? So it's not just important about what you are eating and if you're trying to eat everything clean, it's also about what you put on your skin, right? And last year I went through like a whole makeup detox where I started cutting out a lot of the makeup products. I really downsized all my lipsticks and makeup collection to ensure that it does not have any paraben, just really cleaning the products out, right? So this is important. So the xenoestrogens are called foreign estrogens, and what they do is they will occupy the receptors, estrogen receptors, and they will activate them to a point that their effect is maybe 100-fold at times, right? And these will then increase the tumor. So an example is, parabens are related to breast cancer. There are studies done where they can proliferate certain cells, they can increase the tumor size as well, and this has been documented that it will increase the risk of breast cancer, right? So phthalates, again, they will increase the risk of breast cancer. When we talk about different like PCBs, for example, right, which are found in flame retardants, it will also increase the risk of breast cancer, right? So that is one of the main things. Now, BPA is something, bisphenol A, which is found in plastic. So if you are someone who's drinking a lot of the water from your plastic bottles, right? You could ingest it. The inner lining of the cans could have BPA, and you could end up ingesting a lot of it. And not only breast cancer in women and men, BPAs have also been found to increase your risk of prostate as well as uterine cancer, right? So these are all the studies done. So that is one of the reasons why xenoestrogens have to be completely avoided, and you have to be conscious about what is your intake, what exactly are you eating. And excess estrogenic foods or excess estrogenic, these chemicals, synthetic chemicals, they will cause a situation called estrogen dominance in your body. Too much estrogen in comparison to progesterone, right? So if you're extremely stressed, stress can deplete your progesterone and you have high estrogen. But because of the environmental factors, because of your constant use of cosmetics which contain different parabens, because of your constant convenient lifestyle where you're doing a lot of takeouts in plastic containers, or you're heating food in microwaves which are in plastic containers, right? That will increase your exposure to BPA, and these will enter your body. This will act as estrogens, and that leads to what's called estrogen dominance. I'm going to say a quick hi to Isha. um, Thanks for joining live. If you have any questions, you can post it in the comments. Today we are discussing about xenoestrogens as well as phytoestrogens, and just trying to talk about their sources, right? Now, interestingly, phytoestrogens are plant-based estrogens, right? Xeno are foreign chemicals. They are formed synthetically in different kind of labs, and they're used in different products, right? Now, phytoestrogens are found in natural foods around you. The most common one is soy. When we talk about soy and soybean, so soy will have two main categories of estrogens, and one is the genistein and the other one is didazein, right? So I may not be pronouncing this perfectly. So when we look at these phytoestrogens, a lot of them are seen to be beneficial, right? So an example is, we talked about soy and the genistein as well as the didazein. Now, quercetin is another common, you can find it as supplement. You can find it in different foods. It's found in apples, red grapes, onions, raspberries, honey, cherries, citrus fruits. leafy greens, cranberries, pepper. So it's found in different foods, and it has estrogenic effect, right? And these have a beneficial effect. These are anti-proliferative. Most of them are going to stop your cells from growing excessively. Quercetin is also something that is important when it comes to your immune system. It helps support your immune system, and it's also going to work as anti-allergy, and that's quercetin. It is also a phytoestrogen. Then there is another category called epigenin, which is found in fruits and vegetables. Parsley, chamomile, artichokes will have this. um, resveratrol, right? So it's found in grapes as well as wine. uh, Myricetin, it's found in nutmeg and different vegetables, right? Camphorol is found in chia seeds, strawberries, apples. Luteolin is another category, and curcumin. Now curcumin is very, very, very interesting. It is derived from the plant turmeric, and one of the names given for turmeric is, yoshit priya, that women love it, right? And this was a very interesting information that I found when I was looking at curcumin. I knew about the anti-inflammatory effects. I have been taking a lot of curcumin because I sprained my back last week. It was awful, and the high dose curcumin really helped me, worked better than turmeric. But curcumin is also a phytoestrogen, right? And what phytoestrogens do is they can also have an estrogenic activity, and they will also have their own other functions. An example is, curcumin will work as a phytoestrogen by supporting your body's estrogens. At the same time, it has an anti-inflammatory effect, right? Another one called Kumestrol, it's found in soybeans, it's found in mung beans, it's found in chickpeas and other kind of beans. And that is going to have its own function, right? Plus it's going to act as a phytoestrogen. A lot of plant-based estrogens or phytoestrogens are going to work as anti-cancer, right? So if you look through a lot of the research that's done, whether it's soy related, whether we talk about genistein, or whether we talk about diadzine, whether we talk about quercetin, a lot of these phytoestrogens or plant based estrogens are going to be anti cancer in nature. They are going to decrease your risk of breast cancer or prostate cancer or any, cancers related to estrogen. So that is one of the reasons why you need to have these in your diet, right? And now, simple strategies to limit your exposure to xenoestrogens is to absolutely avoid plastic whenever you can. So one thing to do is always try to replace all your plasticware with something like, glassware, right? So using glass containers, avoiding plastic bottles. You can use stainless steel bottles as well, right? So if you look at a lot of the mugs that I use for my, like, coffee or tea, I'll always use either ceramic or their stainless steel on the inside, right? Which will help prevent excess exposure to the BPA from the plastic. Making sure, you're cleaning up your cosmetics. Always look at what is in your cosmetics, right? What you're putting on your skin is going to be absorbed into your body. It's not going to just stay outside. When we talk about especially lipsticks, right, a lot of your lipsticks can be ingested. Nail polish, if your nail polish is chipping and you're cooking or eating with your hands like me, a lot of your nail polish is going to get inside your body, right? And these are the things we're not very mindful of. So anything, any lotions, any anti-aging products, any moisturizers, anything that you put on your skin, always check for, their content, and make sure they're paraben free and they're phthalate free as well, right? Now what can you do instead as moisturizers? Something like aloe vera gel works fantastic. You can also moisturize, lubricate yourself with coconut oil or any kind of natural oils. So that's the one thing I use for my skin. Mainly I'll use a lot of oils rather than use lots of, moisturizers or different products. Hydrating internally is very important. So this is some ways you can limit your exposure to xenoestrogens. On Instagram, I have scheduled the next few posts to talk exactly about, how much, like what are the products or what are the chemicals from where you're getting your xenoestrogens in. So you can follow me at Manjiri Ayurveda. I'm going to post a lot of videos and reels to talk about these specific ones, right? Like I'm trying to cover everything in this short, like 30-minute segment. So I'm just going to give you quick tips. So avoiding plastic, number one thing to do, always make sure it's glass, and using pesticide free foods, right? Like organic foods. uh, I know some people are, they don't believe in organic. They're like, oh, but what's the guarantee? Or see, they're still going to be so much better for you. They are expensive, but it's like an insurance for your health. And right now we are in the growing season in Canada, where you can start growing your own food. Something as simple as spinach, or something that doesn't take a lot of effort to grow, like radishes, spinach, you can start growing your own, and it's going to taste so much better. It's going to have better flavor profiles and better nutrients than what you can buy in the store, right? So that's also a very simple and easy way to reduce your pesticides. Farmers markets, shopping at farmers markets, will there are so many farmers that grow organically. They just don't go for the labeling, but that's another easy way where you can start reducing or eliminating a lot of the pesticides from your diet, right? So that's another simple strategy. So we talked about the BPAs, and another thing that really helps with xenoestrogens is, the more fat tissue you have in the body, the more you can accumulate certain toxins in the body, right? And this is something that goes both ways. So if you have tried everything for weight loss but you have been unsuccessful, there is a possibility that you could have a lot of toxins in the body, and that is the reason why your body is not releasing this excess fat, right? At the same time, when you have more fatty tissue, whenever we do a body composition report and see that you have too much fat buildup in the body, that also means that you have too much of toxicity in the body, right? So your body won't release this toxins till the time you have fat, and because your toxic threshold is high, you're always going to gain more and more fat, right? So always making sure work with someone to help you understand where this body fat is coming from, and then release it. Also making sure that your levels of heavy metals are lower, right? So heavy metals, again, they are not technically in the xenoestrogen category, but they can be pretty harmful to your body and create more toxicity. So making sure that, okay, getting like, I do hair mineral analysis, for example, for understanding your, toxic thresholds of heavy metals, and that is also extremely helpful. So you can limit those. So these are some simple strategies how you're limiting your exposure to xenoestrogens or xenoestrogens. I'm going to say a quick hi to Devika. Devika has joined us live as well. And now the last part is, which phytoestrogens can you incorporate in your daily routine, right? So interestingly, in Ayurveda, there are certain foods that you can eat on a regular basis and everyday basis. And mung beans is one of those. And mung beans also have phytoestrogens, right? So eating mung beans, they're not gassy, they are going to be easily digestible, they are also a good source of phytoestrogen. You can definitely go for those. Apples are another great fruits, right? They will also have quercetin. They also have, more of the, like, things like epigenin, and they have more phytoestrogenic effect as well. They also have good amounts of fiber to flush your system. Something like flaxseed, right? So flaxseed is another fantastic source of phytoestrogens, and these are things you can incorporate on a daily basis. Now what about soy? right? So soy, again, there is a lot of controversy on the topic of soy. And the more practitioners you approach, the more like confused you can get, is because everybody has their opinion about soy. My take on soy is that if you can digest it, it is good for you. But for most people, digesting soy becomes a big challenge, right? And soy, because of its concentrated phytoestrogens, if your body is having any trouble in the metabolism of estrogen, or you're not detoxifying estrogens naturally, and the detoxification pathways, we can run few hormonal tests and figure out if your detoxification is not happening in a proper way, right? So these are some things we can do and find it out as well. So this is where you can understand that, okay, now is not a good time, or it's not a, soy is not a good fit for you, right? So if you have any trouble with metabolism or detoxification of estrogen, chances are soy is not going to work for you. If you are sensitive or allergic to soy, soy is not going to work for you, right? And again, soy or tofu, tempeh, they are seen to be beneficial in a few, like when you look at the research, you'll find research both ways. They have been seen to be beneficial for certain conditions, and they have proved to be not so great for other conditions. So again, Prasanna, that is a very good question, that soy is bad for thyroid. Soy is not beneficial for thyroid, you got it right. So too much soy can be goitrogenic, it is going to lower your thyroid function. Along with certain cruciferous vegetables, like kale, broccoli, cauliflower, cabbage, which are raw. If you cook these vegetables, you're going to be fine. But ideally, soy, in most of the protocols, when I work with clients one on one, I would limit the soy, or eliminate it. If they are vegan and that's the only source of protein, you want to always make sure that you're having it in moderation and not on a daily basis. But switching your milk, for example, from dairy to something like soy milk, is not going to be the best option, if you have thyroid issues. Now we are talking about xenoestrogens, we are talking about phytoestrogens, right? And all the exogenous estrogens, where we're getting from. And another important factor to understand is, if you have estrogen dominance, dairy products, consumption of dairy products will naturally have some estrogen in it, right? So dairy products naturally have some hormones in it. It's not that they're bad for everyone, right? So certain stages of your life where growth is required, dairy can work well. But again, dairy does not work for each and every person, right? And if you have hormonal issues, if you have certain ama related issues or excess kapha buildup in the body, dairy is not going to be your friend, and it will exhibit its estrogenic effect on the body, and it will worsen certain conditions like PCOS, PCOD, endometriosis, or anything related to excess estrogen. So dairy was the other component here. Any questions so far? So today I've covered exogenous estrogens, the good and bad. We've talked a lot about, xenoestrogens, phytoestrogens. We talked about some strategies to limit your exposure to xenoestrogens, and also which phytoestrogens you can incorporate in your daily routine. Um, so if you have more questions, you can post them here. I have done several videos on my YouTube channel when it comes to hormones and hormonal health, right? So you can always, go to my YouTube channel, check it out, and browse any of the videos if you're looking for more information, or if you're looking for any specific videos about xenoestrogens. Last year I did like an extensive video only on xenoestrogens, so you can definitely check that out. For next week's Wellness Wednesday, I am going to discuss about 10 foods that will restore hormonal balance. So that's the topic for next week. And if you are interested in rebalancing your hormones, you can set up a 15-minute free consultation with me, and we can go from there, right? So we will just revisit like what your expectations are, what's going on. We can talk about some testing as well. I do have limited spots because of the clinic going really busy, but do get in touch and we can definitely, um, make a booking. So thank you all for watching. Have a fantastic day, and I will see you soon. Bye for now.